This boat is like looking at a new boat, and she's so handsome. Everything is just right. That looks perfect. Is this lovely?
It is amazing.
Ah, this is delightful. Really handsome. This is a wonderful installation.
What was that look?
It was a look. This is swell.
No, they don't.
Hi there, this is Captain Q. Join us as we travel hither and yon to show you some great deals on some really interesting boats and maybe learn just a little bit with each one.
Hey, Captain.
Hey, Randy. Here we are, pal. We're in Freeport, Maine, USA. And I'm skating on a very little pond here. We're on a delightful property that belongs to a gentleman who loves to fix up old things. He'd had a hobby for years of restoring old cars. And as a matter of fact, his favorite old car is a 61 Corvette, which is just 3 years newer than my favorite old car, which was a 58 Corvette. Anyway, has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but it's just thought I'd mention it because he's taken that same level of skill sets and attention and applied it to the resurrection of a very, very tired Hinckley 41, which is a really, really pretty boat. The fun thing about this for me is that there's a real backstory to this boat, and we have to sort of think of it as progeny. Which is a great word which relates to descendants of things that have happened in the past. Back in 1944, the year the captain was born, Norman Owens designed a 40-foot sloop that has become known as the Owens Cutter. And she was built out of wood. Norman and his family had a powerboat company at that point. They were building powerboats out of wood. They had met with great success at the New York Boat Show in 1933, and they'd built up their business, and now he wanted to try sailboats. So he built this 40-foot sloop and put it on the race course right away. And in the first year, in early 1950, she immediately took off out of Tampa Bay and raced all the way to Havana and won the race.
Wow.
Against all the current ocean racers of her time. In about 1950, he sold the rights to the design to Hinckley. Now, Hinckley took the boat, and they built a number of Owens cutters, Hinckley cutters at the time, out of wood. And I think altogether there might be 50 of these in the world, or at the time there were 50. They were very, very fast boats. And what's fun about them, for me, is that when we first started sailing on big water with my father, we sailed against an Owens cutter up out of Youngstown, New York. And this boat was owned by a gentleman named Bud Doyle. Bud Doyle was a delightful man, older man at the time, as I recall. They'd go out, and they would just light up the race course and just leave all the rest of us in the dust. And it was just beautiful. And you just knew Bud was going to win the race that day, no matter what day you went out. But we tried anyway. The Owens had generated such an appeal to people that 6 gentlemen in Buffalo, New York, took one of the Owens cutters and turned it upside down, made a female mold out of it, and produced 6 independent boats that became known as bore saws. And they sold their mold to Allied Boat Works. And they created, with modifications by Robert Harris, a boat that was known as the Allied 39. Doing it in fiberglass actually didn't make the boats any faster nor slower, but they certainly were less to maintain. From where I stand right now, she's incredible. She's gorgeous. Camelot. The Hinckley 41. She has her own shed, and she's quite comfortable there. Progeny of an Owens cutter, made out of solid fiberglass. The whole hull is solid fiberglass. And it's been reported that most of the boat is solid fiberglass. And there's no coring, it appears, that's going to go bad on you, like plywood coring or balsa core. It's long 4 foot. As she comes in, see how deep it is? We come in, and this is deeper than anything we've seen so early on, without going right down to becoming an old schooner or something, but very deep forward. What Norman did was he abbreviated the length of the keel down like so, and then made a fairly short run of it, and didn't carry it all the way to the stern, to the beginning of the counter, but just ended it there, and then glued a rudder on the end. And the nice thing about this, he has enough run so that enough lateral plane, this whole plane of the boat, the whole lateral plane of the boat, has got enough to really track very nicely. The rudder is fully protected by the leading edge of the keel and so forth, and the aperture is protecting the propeller. All this has been redone in the last 7 years. The line cutter, that's brand new, fresh. We got all the through hulls in the boat have been replaced. This is kind of nice looking up in the through hull. It's all fresh threads in there, and you can see the fresh bedding is still, has been squeezed out that particular piece. Oh, that's it. That's his ground, and you want to leave that unpainted so that you get a good contact with the water, and it becomes a ground for electronic gear and so on. Now down here, you've got, notice a line running down there that delineates the ballast for the boat.
Oh yeah, similar to the B40.
Yes, even a little more pronounced. This has some shape to it too. It's kind of interesting. It's a little broader shape, even though the whole keel itself is very narrow. It's not a fat keel. It's a fairly narrow keel, and that's about 6,000 pounds. Don't drop it on your toe. The Owens cutter was 1,000 less, and then Hinckley put an extra 1,000 pounds into the lead.
And so why would he put an extra 1,000 compared to the Owens?
They just decided that they wanted to have a little more performance, a little more lead in it, and she also gained about 400 square feet of sail area. So they gave her more sail area to drive it and a little more ballast down here. The boat has got a certified history of design success. You really just can't go wrong with this boat, and she's so handsome. And the beauty of it is to be able to sail into any harbor with this boat and tie up alongside anything else that's in there. You are going to be the cock of the walk. She's got a drop-dead flag blue hull paint. Top sides are painted flag blue. And she has a classic white boot top. We love that. But the other thing, of course, we love is the gold cove stripe. It looks terrific either way. And the tow rail we can see from down here looks great.
Yeah.
This is just, it's amazing how big this boat looks too down here when we're standing underneath it. It's 40 feet, but it feels like it's 50. It's just really, really wonderful. And part of that, I think, too, is there's so much volume down here as opposed to modern boats where they put the skimming dish down here, flat bilges.
Yep.
Little tiny keel hung down here. Now this is all available for tankage and stowage. It gives you a lot of interior volume. And she's a narrow boat though, 10 feet and a few inches. What do you think? Do you think it's time?
I think it's that time.
Okay, let's head north.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is this lovely?
It is amazing.
The owner's really done a great job up here. We're sitting on fresh painted deck that looks like it came out of the mold and still has gel coat on it.
I don't even want to stand up board. I'm going to mess
I don't think you better. I think you better stay down there. You're kind of a dirty guy. And this boat is really pristine. Not a huge display of instrumentation, because I think a lot of that's overkill. And I also am a believer that most of your navigation should be done below decks in the peace and quiet of your chart table navigation area. This is delightful. The gear shift right down beside the hatch here, and look at that nice big old chrome fixture. You don't find those very often anymore. A lot of times they're making them out of stamped metal that tends to rust. This is all perfect. I mean, how else can I explain it? It's all perfect.
It feels brand new.
It does feel brand new. To buy this boat today, what do you think?
Oh, 41, probably $1.2 million.
$1 million something, yep, $1 million something. And it is such a deal. We haven't even seen the cabin.
No.
That could be, look like a leftover from a toga party. But I don't think so. Randy, we got a nice big hatch area here. I'm sure there's some good storage under here. We have a spring-loaded arm catch on one side here. We've seen those. We like that.
It's one of your favorites.
I do like that. And then below, you'll see a split going out to 2 exhausts, and that's going to allow the exhaust pressure from the engine. If the boat's motor sailing and slightly heeling, it's not going to have back pressure from having one of those exhaust lines underwater. It will always have a route for the exhaust to get out of the boat.
Oh, that's clever.
It's a very nice design. And then right in front of it, we have a propane tank, and we've seen this located before.
Yep.
And there's 2 nice propane tanks. They're in a sealed locker. And I think he still is yet. He plans to put on a rubber gasket around here, which would make it really airtight.
Yep.
And then that will have its own drain overboard, so that any propane, which is heavier than air, will flow out of the boat. Right at these things right here, Randy. Do you know what this is? I know you like to discover things.
Ooh.
What are those things?
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
This, you're going to put a boom strut right here to catch the boom. It's going to be a long piece of wood. It'll sit right down through both of these. And the boom comes back to somewhere about here, because you see here's the traveler. So you can stand at the wheel with this boom crutch in place.
When you're motoring?
When you're motoring, yeah. Here's a traveler. Again, very basic traveler. It's got a couple of stops here. You can preset for whatever tack you're going to be on and what the wind is blowing. Today we would have a 6-part tackle from both sides that would adjust that boom. And that, I'd kind of like to put one of those on here if this was mine. I've got a really nice backstop, and you don't see this very often in sailboats. Usually they have nice coamings, and this has terrific coamings coming back here, all nicely varnished with pockets for winch handles. Oh, here's our autopilot down here. It's an old Benmar unit, and he's actually had this whole unit out of the boat and all the electronics attached to it and shipped it back down to Texas to an outfit that rebuilt it. Now let's take a look in this locker here.
Ooh, boy.
Huh? Well, this is your stateroom, Randy.
I think that's my aft cabin.
Is this nice? This is huge.
I think the pillow goes aft.
Look, no, this is your writing. This is where you put your computer and your laptop, your
my
chair
editing
there.
station, yeah.
Look at that. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Wow.
Huge. And the owner's done a great job of painting it out in here.
Yep.
A nice tan color.
Is this a little hand bilge right here?
That's a bilge pump. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, isn't
Old
that good?
school. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's very nicely done. Okay, on our starboard side. Whoa.
Oh, that's your aft cabin.
This is pretty nice. Nice little deck there with, looks like an inverter. There's a master battery switch down on the forward bulkhead of this. This is going to pop off, and you're going to have access to the whole aft end of the motor. And I'll bet you dimes of dollars you can even get to the stuffing box. Not always an easy trick. And here's another nice feature here. Look at this. You know what these are? These are the washboards for the main companionway.
Yep.
And look at the brass fittings on the end, so those slide right down in. Probably I don't know if it's a wooden or a matching bronze groove. Is that?
Yeah, it's matching bronze.
Matching bronze. So that's not going to jam on you going down or up. Wow, everything here is just done a wonderful job with. We got a nice piece of trim on top of the coaming here, just to keep the wood from getting chipped away, or lines that run over the top of it, or even somebody stepping on board and stepping on the wood and twisting their foot and peeling away the varnish. All right, let's see if we can get ourselves forward here. Oh, I see a Randy coming up out of the hatch there. What are you doing down there?
I just thought it was a better way to get up here.
It's a much better way. You don't have all this wood in front of you. Great non-skid. And this is not going to tear. Look at that. I'm pushing pretty hard. No blood. But that's going to grab your topsiders. Wonderful Dorade box.
Yeah, beautifully
and
done.
Wind scoop. All nicely stainless and with a nice painted interior to it. Really handsome. This is a wooden spinnaker pole. And the fitting on here is really for a museum. It's just beautiful. 2 nice inline cleats. And that's where cleats should be lined up. And if you aim right up at that cleat, each one will go up right toward a hawse hole, give you a nice straight lead for your anchor lines or your dock lines. But that nose piece on the boat is really a handsome casting right at the very bow there.
That's the old Hinckley signature piece, right?
It's certainly one of them, yes. This is an electric ideal windlass, and it's designed just to take rope because a lot of these boats really weren't designed, or they weren't planning on them to go around the world where everybody wants to go these days. So you'd sail in quiet little bays and harbors, and right beside your foot there, Randy, is the electric switch to operate it. Now you can't see it, your foot's in the way. Oh, no tap dancing on the deck. The 3 of the chain plates for the mainmast. And they are really solid in here. Of course, all this has been done, pulled out, and repolished and rebedded. So these are going to be tight as a drum. Let's head down.
All right, let's go.
Here we go. Ren, do I hear you up there?
This seems like a familiar position.
I know, but listen, you know what? We've seen these transom berths, these settee berths pull out before, and we didn't get them all pulled out. But I wanted to just check this one. When Hinckley makes a settee berth, this is serious. Look at this. I got room for, two really skinny people on either side of me here as well. This is giant. And, oh gosh, it's so comfortable. And I bet there's probably some lee boards under here or canvas to keep me in when it's blowing and so forth. But this is pretty nice. But look at this. Gorgeous finish. And then you've got a settee over here that will give you one more berth on that side and more storage, books and miscellaneous things can be stored down in that little track there. Oh, look at that. That almost went in by itself. Is that nice? We love that. Nice big heavy duty drawer storage underneath the pilot berth, and it locks in place. This is just all very rugged. There's nothing delicate about this, but it's just solid, kind of, I think it was good American joinery work. It's not Louis XIV's or something. Isn't that the guy that had all the French furniture?
Louis the 14th?
Louis the 14th. Couture's, thank you. You thought I didn't know about Couture's. We do the best we can.
I don't know if they call him Louis Couture's.
We don't call it Louis Couture. Louis, how about Louis Cans? How about Cans?
15?
Yeah. 13. So, now, back in those days, there was a pretty basic area here for your galley, and over on this side, they'd have the icebox, and the icebox would be big enough to spread a chart out on it. But what the owner of this boat has done is he's made a few modifications here, which are really appropriate and really nice and really unusual. The owner's put in a very nice little chart table area here. All your little switches for your lights and your power and your water and so forth. Beautifully nestled in here is storage for your plates and your silverware and a can opener. Does that...
That's going to come in handy.
Does that portend of something?
It does portend.
Anyway, so that will probably come with the boat. I bet he would probably let that can opener go with it. Everything closes shut nicely and things slide. Plate storage up and above and cup storage. This is very nice, very tidy. And it's done a nice job of squeezing this in here. This is great. Okay, it's right above me. And this is set up on an arm, I bet. Yep, that's set up on an arm to swing out in the cockpit. Something we used to do on all the boats in the old days that didn't have chart tables, anything. We'd always put the depths under it. It was the big thing. It would swing out into the cockpit. Crossover, beautifully finished, varnished teak and holly sole down here. And, it's even got, you know what this is?
Little dust trap?
You got it. God, you've gotten so smart. Little dust trap. This is a little Hinckley trick. I don't know who else has done it, but I've never seen it on the boats.
We did see one on the Vinda.
Are you countering? I didn't see it on the Vinda. Yes, there was one on the Vinda.
Yeah.
Okay, so they probably got it from Hinckley. We love our Hinckley's.
I don't know. I think the Swedes invented it.
We love our Hinkley's. Anyway, over here we have a 3-burner stove and oven. This has a very heavy cover on it right now. I'm not going to lift it up right now, but in the meantime, you've got a great sandwich making board, and it's directly adjacent to, food storage. If you make a sandwich, sometimes the folks get thirsty and so forth. So you've got your sodas and your refrigeration unit right here. Oh my God, look at this guy. He likes the same stuff we do. Isn't that unusual that we found him?
Quite a coincidence.
Should we take that home with us? He hasn't been on for a while, so there's probably not a whole lot.
We've got a real sailor here.
We have a nice supply. A little lunch meat. We are going to eat on board today.
Yeah,
I think
hungry.
so. Why not? Yeah. Why not? We might even have enough here for the owner. We'll invite him on board. Do you think? That sounds a good plan. Okay. So, great galley for a 41-foot period piece boat. All the room you need. Navigation galley. And here we have a red motor. It looks to be a Westerbeek. Yep, that's a Westerbeek. But if you look back down behind the engine, this is what the part I really like, among other things. You see the water lift muffler down there. That's that silver thing down there. And then below that, down in the bilge, there's the stuffing box. Look at that, way down there. And you can get to that from the side cockpits. Remember those big side cockpit lockers we were in?
Yep.
This is a wonderful installation. You know, it's all right here for us. This has been out of the boat and it's been overhauled and put back in and painted, and they've done a very nice job with it. And you know what else is nice too? You know what I'm not seeing? I'm not seeing a lot of wires.
I think we saw that in the Nimble.
The Nimble was the original Medusa, I think. But this is wonderful. I mean, you sort of want to leave this open and drive around with it, right? And just say, hey, everything's ready. And right over the top here, this is what I love. I love little lockers like this. Look at this little friendly locker. You know what's in here? Look at these. All the tools you need to fix things on the boat. I think that would probably work on, well, that's for a prop, and that's for a rudder. These are different tools for tightening things down there. And see, they're odd. See how they're bent? Because you got to get them in funny angles to do it. It's not just a straight old. Look at the joiner work. Look at the refinishing that's all been done throughout here, and the inside of these windows. They're all been stripped and polished. Look at that. Look at that bronze. Those are all bronze. You don't think you find that doggy very often anymore.
No.
The head. Look at that.
Wow.
That's bigger than some other bigger boats.
Oh, beautifully
And
done.
beautifully done, nicely tiled. We have a drain down there to go to a catch basin. And look at all the hardware in the lockers. All this hardware has been stripped off the boat, and it's all been re-chromed here. You see this?
Oh, yeah.
Just look at these hinges. This is about as fresh as you can get. Look at the overhead. Look how the overhead's been treated.
Do we have a shower on board?
The hose comes right out of here and just sits right in. There's a little fitting for it right here to live on that bulkhead. It's a little different. We actually have a big mirror here. I really like the big mirror.
You like that,
I like
yeah.
the big mirror.
What was that look?
What?
What was that look?
It was a look. What's missing?
One of the big poles thing coming through the deck.
There's no mast.
Yeah.
She stepped on deck.
I think it's the metal piece right
Is it
there.
the
no?
next? Okay, but good eye, very good. Yep. Okay, here's the compression post for the mast. I forgot where the mast is further forward on the older boats. So that's going to go right down, and it's going to be anchored right on top of the keelson. But it really is, it's very nice. You don't realize just how nice it is until you're on a boat without a mast coming through the deck.
Yep.
Because we just have so much more room. If we had a mast, it'd be sitting here. You'd have to bump around it. You couldn't get into this area. It would be if it went into the head, where many of them do, you'd lose head space. So a deck step mast can be a very good thing. Here's a big hanging locker.
What's that bulbous thing in there?
That's the sensing compass for the autopilot. And they got to get it up forward, out of the way, and away from anything else that's going to be magnetic. We're up in another really spacious forward cabin. I'm sorry to say, Randy, that you'll be disappointed. there's your favorite little seat is not there.
You could still use that.
Okay. But look at that. We have squared off berths. We love that, don't we?
Yeah.
That means you can roll around, do whatever you want. And here's a nice little filler section here. On this side, they put a beautiful big chest of drawers. And I don't know how deep this is. Yeah, that's pretty deep, right? This is swell. I don't think we need to test this even.
I think we do.
You think we do?
I think we do.
Oh, Randy. All right. Port or starboard today?
Let's go starboard.
Starboard. Okay, we'll do starboard. So we're going to pop ourselves right up here. And there are no sharp protruding little wing nuts or anything to get us. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now, you see what I mean? There's your knees. They go right to the little centerpiece there. Oh, that actually is all you really need for the width of a bunk. I mean, if I'm lying like this, then, as I said, give me the tulip, and I'll just sit, and I'll just sit here, and you can bury me on Sunday. Just hop out of here, relatively speaking. Oh, here's a nice hanging locker for your blue blazers, your business suit. I think we've got a gorgeous boat here.
Yeah.
A gorgeous restoration job. We had a chance to see an amazing transformation. We didn't actually see it take place. We saw the final effort of a singular, multi-talented gentleman who took an old, tired, beat-up Hinckley 41 and turned it into a jewel of a new boat. And I'll tell you, this is putting me to task because I think you know that I really kind of like the hood yaw. I still really like the hood yaw. But this Hinckley is very close. I mean, it's a close second. And if somebody out there beats me to the hood yaw, I wish them all the happiness in the world and good sailing and fair winds and all that. And I'll take this Hinckley 41. She was beautiful. He just did a magnificent job with it.
I have a question as always.
What is your question?
How would you rate that boat?
How would I rate this boat? There's no question this boat floats. It's going to float fast. So the 10 plus the fact that it's a Hinckley plus it's an Owens cutter progeny, at least a 21.
Ooh, nice.
This is a 21.
Yep.
Great boat. If you want to know more about this boat, go look at the description of the episode right underneath the episode video. And look below that, and there'll be some words, something like show more. Click on that, and that will drop down. This boat looked brand new. We were on a brand new boat today, as far as I was concerned. The owner's done a fantastic job with it. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. We're having too good a time doing these things, so you can hit the bell or not. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes. A little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.